throws. He lays out and makes the catch.
And we're back for another episode of the Double Switch Podcast. Phils, man. Phils are fun.
Woo.
This is kind of what I was always hoping for with my Phillies. And it's weird because they're doing what we want them to do. You know, it seems like the stressful days might be behind us. Someone knock on wood. But, man, this past week and all of August was fun. I hate to see it come to an end so fast. You know, hopefully everything carries over into September. But how you doing, Johnny?
I'm doing well. I think we're going to have a dog episode this time around. If you guys hear breathing, it's not me. It's the dogs that are right below me. But, man, this past week and all of August really, but the past 2 weeks have just been absolutely crazy. I don't even know where to start, but you're absolutely right. When we were all saying that whole ball go boom thing, when we signed all these guys, this is what I expected. I expected home runs, and the guys are firing on all cylinders. The vibes are just amazing right now.
Yeah, so in August, I guess we can kind of make this little summary real quick. Broke the team record for home runs in a month.
Yep.
You had two of our guys, specifically Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, just refine their previous MVP type form, which has been huge. You had everybody else kind of just pitching in home runs when they could. I mean, there was no weak links in this lineup throughout the entire month. And this is exactly how the team was designed. We were supposed to mash our way to victory, and that's exactly what happened all of August. And, when the team's playing like this, as we saw this whole month, there's not many teams that can beat us. And it's just you hope that it can carry on because baseball is weird and, people go through streaks and everything. But as of now, I feel really good about where we're at, and I feel really good about where the season's gone for some of the guys that we were worried about. Trey Turner, JT Realmuto hasn't quite come around. Aaron Nola has looked much better. Everybody, if you could really just pinpoint one guy who's doing this, you couldn't, because it's a team effort. And it's been fun. It's been really fun.
Yeah, and it's very easy to go and say, because I was getting a little complaining about some of the starters. I mean, the offense bailed them out the past week or two just because we've been putting up 8 runs a game every game. But some of them have definitely been in a little bit of a down spell. But I think that's okay because they have guys like Taiwan and Christopher Sanchez have played some really good baseball for us over the past, kind of when the bats weren't going, in the beginning of the year. So you expect this. I mean, every player is going to have some lulls in their season, but as long as they're all playing their best baseball at some point, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and you look at where we're at right now. We're not going to catch the Braves because the Braves are one of the best teams we'll ever see. They're that good. But we're 3 up on the Cubs. Obviously lost yesterday in the 9th inning. Kind of hate to see that one get away. But 3 up September 1st. You got to feel good about who we're kind of dealing with here. Cubbies seem to be, kind of solidifying themselves as that second wild card. I think they're the best team, kind of in that tier. But afterwards, you're looking at a bunch of teams now that are they're young and they're not ready for the big lights. Obviously, me saying that could come back to bite us, but these teams are kind of fading down the stretch. D-backs, Marlins, Reds, they're going to be gunning for that last wild card spot. But I just think that we have so much talent here and we have so much, experience and everything that at this point, I think we just need to keep the vibes good. We need to keep everybody healthy. And there's some certain things where we can kind of fine tune. Hi, dog. I heard that one. Where we can kind of fine tune around the edges. But, there's no major holes. I guess the one thing you can kind of point to, bullpen kind of seems to be running out of gas here towards the end. And it's a little alarming because, you don't want to have shaky games towards the end of the game. But, it's the one thing right now that you could possibly worry about,
Yeah, I mean, anyone that's been kind of watching, it's been like kind of our top guys too that are like kind of having some real struggles, like Soto a little bit. Sir Anthony hasn't really looked like Sir Anthony. I would argue Sir Anthony hasn't pitched his best baseball yet this season. I don't think at any point he's really looked like playoff Sir Anthony last season.
Neither is Soto. Soto hasn't. I was expecting more out of Soto. I mean, his ERA is in the mid fours. I think the best days for him are yet to come.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I look at it, because we look at like the bats and we look at the starters who've kind of already we've seen their best baseball. I think we saw Craig Kimbrell's best in the beginning of the season, but Soto, Sir Anthony, Alvarado, I think the focus has kind of just been to keep these guys' arms healthy for the stretch run, because I think they believe in the guys and that their stuff will play.
Yeah, one big theme to kind of watch is Alvarado down the stretch, because he's the best pitcher in the bullpen. He's going to be the guy who gets the highest leverage these last couple of weeks. So if he can get healthy and get right, it's going to take the pressure off of some of these other guys. Sir Anthony, it's getting kind of late. You're kind of starting to think like this might be a lost season for Sir Anthony. He's battled a couple different injuries and hasn't been able to put it together. And, you'll have those seasons. I mean, everybody has those seasons once in a while. Kimbrell is the one who's kind of starting to worry me. His control seems to be getting off. And, when pitchers get tired, a lot of people try to look towards like velocity and like try to gauge it by that. But sometimes when pitchers get tired, they lose their control. And seeing a lot of walks out of Kimbrell, you're seeing a lot of missed locations, specifically the Drury home run yesterday. I know he was trying to get up and in on him, but he left the ball out over the plate, let him extend his arms. He needs to be a little sharper, and I don't know what that looks like exactly. Maybe just not using him as often down the stretch. But we really need the big guns fresh come postseason time, because there are some questions about, the back end of the rotation. We need quality innings where we can get them. That's going to be one big theme coming up here.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Alvarado is absolutely the guy to look at, just because he has that. Him and Sir Anthony. I think how they progress over September. If they stay healthy, kind of regain their composure, their confidence. That is a sign that we need. Those two kind of need to be our 1-2 punch against some of these lineups, because Craig Kimbrell's been great. He's kind of defied all expectations I had for him. You know how I felt when it happened. I've owned up to it. And I really just kind of thought age was going to catch up to the guy. It hasn't, but the way he pitches with 2 pitches, not as high velo as the rest of the back of the bullpen, he does have to be pinpoint. He has to be pinpoint, or he can't be a late inning guy. I think he's going to figure it out. Whether that's a little bit of rest, I think you're probably right with that.
Yeah, and I'm really kind of only bringing him up here because it's a recency bias, and yesterday was really frustrating. I really wanted to win that game yesterday, and it was a bad day for him to not be sharp. Hopefully
you could point towards the Stubbs pass ball on the first strikeout.
That's a good point. Yeah, people are going to forget about that.
That dinky ground ball that got through.
You're absolutely correct. Yeah, it's not completely his fault, but it is a little bit his fault, and obviously, what are we gonna yell at Stubbsy? That kind of stuff happens.
No, the sky's not falling, but we gotta keep an eye on it.
Speaking of Stubbsy, you actually that was a good transition there. Another key is gonna kind of be rest for JT, because I know I said that everybody kind of got it going, but that's not true. I kind of lied there. There's one guy who is yet to get it going, and that's JT Realmuto, who he's caught a lot of games in his career. And he catches a lot every season. And the reason that he doesn't get as much criticism as some of the other guys who were struggling early in the season is due to that fact. So I do understand why, some regression has been occurring. We ask a lot of the guy, and, to be an all-star hitter year after year, it's definitely it's icing on top of the cake. He's kind of here as the catcher and to kind of lead the pitching staff, but the bat has not come around yet, and you kind of got to wonder whether he needs more rest too, whether we should throw Stubbsy out there, whether September 1st we bring up Marchand, when
Not a
rosters
bad
expand and, we kind of rotate in a bunch of catchers here. It's a good question too. And, I've been waiting. Last year we kind of had the hard switch after the Toronto series where he turned it on, and that never came this year. And it's probably a combination of getting old and us asking a lot of him. But him picking it up down the stretch would be huge too.
Yeah, maybe we just need Canada to kick him out of the country again.
We tried that. But I guess they let him in and it threw him off. He probably wanted to get kicked out or something. Yeah.
He's like, I'm allowed here? Ah, man, I'm not going to hit.
Something like that.
Yeah, something along those lines, of course.
Anything to say on JT or just full agreement there?
I mean, you did say it very well. I obviously take into account how grueling of a position catcher is. And then you just think about it. Like, those guys, they're spending probably 60% of their time with pitchers, getting the pitching rotation ready for the upcoming opponents, making sure everyone's on the same page. They're just not. They're not hitting is not his main focus like some of these guys. There's a lot that goes into catching, and he does a hell of a job. And obviously a little offense would be nice here and there. I wish he could just shorten up that swing, and I just wish his profile as a hitter was a little bit different right about now. Now the way this lineup's filling out, more of a contact-based guy, walk-based guy. He hasn't walked at all, ever.
No, that's not who he is. But when I played baseball, I never had the aptitude to be able to handle like everything that a catcher could like have to handle. That's why I never ended up playing catcher. It's just a lot. Like I know it's a lot. But he's still been very good defensively, so we'll kind of just make that a subtopic for today's episode. But one more player that I wanted to hit on. Actually, two more. Aaron Nola. I remember saying that I was expecting him to have a couple weeks where he lowers his ERA by half a run, and I was talking about how it hadn't come yet. Kind of looks like he's like turning that corner and doing exactly what I hoped. He looked very good his past two starts. Deep into the game, like Aaron Nola does, 7 innings, 2 runs or less. That's the biggest key. That's the most important thing. And it always was, even when everybody was struggling, Trey, JT, Aaron Nola figuring it out was always the most important key to the season. And if he can do that, sky's the limit. I'm telling you, sky's the limit for this team.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. If Nola gets right in September, it makes this whole run way more exciting. And just to hit on Nola, the Thompson interview on WIP, that it kind of like put to bed that whole conversation about Nola not being a playoff starter. Nola's going to be the number 2 starter no matter what, and Thompson believes him because the guy works hard, and everyone sees it. It's not like he's not working. The results are going to come. It's just how hard work kind of works.
Yeah, I think I was actually talking about this. It's like a loose kind of comparison. But the Ryder Cup team, I don't know if you follow golf too well, but they chose to bring Justin Thomas to Europe as their captain's pick, who had a terrible season. And it just made me think, like, it's very similar between what they did with Justin Thomas and what they're doing with Aaron Nola. When you get to those like kind of super important games, I think the strategy that probably is like the most successful. I don't have like super good stats to back this up. I think you throw out players with the highest ceiling and the highest upside, and you just see if it's going to work. That's the whole argument for Aaron Nola. No one's going to say he's pitching better than no one's going to say that he's the second best pitcher right now on the team. You can look up and down the rotation. He might be right now because people have kind of fallen back, but you bet on upside and you bet on the guys who can single-handedly kind of win you a game, and that's what Aaron Nola can do. And it was refreshing hearing Rob Thompson say it because there hadn't been anything like solid of substance confirming that yet, and it's just what we need to kind of put that idea to rest,
Yeah, and I think it's just funny how quickly like people have backed off like the whole Michael Lorenzen should start over like Nola, because that was like a pretty mainstream take, and I almost considered it, even though Nola's my boy, and just because Lorenzen, he just blew us away in those first 2 starts.
That's true.
Well, no, I said Ranger would be my 2.
Oh
And I
yeah,
still,
yeah,
but again, he would have to get right as well. But yeah, the
yeah. When
Lorenzen thing, that's been interesting.
yeah, when Lorenzen started to kind of not be good, I took to Twitter and I kind of wanted to see like people's reaction after the no hitter, just because I knew people would overreact, and I saw tweets like, "Give Aaron Nola's contract to Lorenzen, extend him now, start him game 2," and I was like, guys, relax. And I'm not the one to like bring up the receipts like after something happens, but if I was, I definitely could have, because there were some outrageous takes after Lorenzen threw a no hitter, and the track record is very important in baseball, and just don't forget that. Just don't forget that.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. There is a lot of reacting strictly to after the whole Lorenzen Nola situation. That was a crazy time. They're like, "We're good. We don't need." People are like, "We don't need Nola anymore." It's like, what are you talking about? You don't know anything about this guy except for he had 2 good starts for your team. You don't know what he did his whole entire career. We did. I think our expectations have always been pretty. I mean, you think he's a 4.5? Like, that's how I see him.
Yeah, we were always kind of lukewarm on him as a talent, but he's proven us wrong. But baseball's it's the law of averages, and he was going to kind of regress to what he is. This is probably over regressing to kind of like cancel out the first 2 starts, but that's how baseball works.
What have you done for me lately?
Yeah, math is weird, and water's always gonna find its level. So that's Michael Lorenzen recently. But yeah, no, Aaron Nola's been very good, and I hope that people realize that, because people are quick to point out when he's bad. People aren't as quick to point out when he's good. So we'll do that here. Last player. I don't necessarily know what to say about this, because everybody's said what I'm about to say, but Bryce Harper, you sometimes watch players and you know that what you're watching is really good, but he's kind of the point where I can't quite comprehend how good he is, because the stats, obviously we know what he's done, but there's just something about how whenever there's a big spot and he comes up, I think he's going to do something big, and that's incredible enough, just me thinking that he's going to do something big. I don't think that about anybody, because big moments like that are few and far between. But I think Bryce Harper's going to do it. And then Bryce Harper always does it, it feels like. I don't know if I only remember the good parts, but it just feels like he finds a way to be the most important player, in the sport, not even just on the team, in terms of impact in individual situations. There's no one who's more of a threat than Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper can.
I'm back. Okay, I thought I lost my camera. We're good.
That was a close call.
Yeah, the camera's not done today. It's fighting through its issues. But yeah, Bryce Harper is incredible. Number 300 in a Phillies uniform. He never fails to amaze me. He's bounced back completely. And hopefully 400's right behind it, 500's a couple years after that. And I mean, who knows? Who knows what the future holds, because he is capable of whatever he sets his mind to.
Yeah, I think the craziest part to me is just looking at how old he is. I mean, his book is half written, his story. And the way Bryce Harper is, I just don't. I mean, I'm knocking on wood hard for when I say this one. He's just a guy that I don't think he'll regress in his time and that much in his time in Philly. Probably naturally with age, but he's able to will himself in any big situation to get it done. That's just who he is. He just believes that he can achieve anything. And I will point out the bad side of it: base running. He thinks he can achieve anything on the bases.
I was thinking about that, actually. So we've, I think, this is a complete hypothesis, but you know how Philly's like a city where effort is rewarded and people care really deeply about how much effort you put into the game and your craft.
Yep.
I think Bryce Harper's kind of like using his base running as like a prime example of like all the like giving all the effort every time. Because he really does always chase like that extra base, and
Always, every time.
it's a bad thing. But if you want a player who's going to give us all, that's a good thing. Like that is what that player does. It might be dumb, but he is. It's not for lack of effort. It's just I think it's kind of all part of this. Persona and kind of the mystique about him. His pulse on the city is just phenomenal, and he knows how to like pull all the strings to make people care about him and the team. And he's referencing people from WIP, and he's kissing the logo after his
He was
curtain
on
call.
WIP today at 4. Marks and
I didn't
Reese.
have a chance to listen. How was that?
It was pretty good. I got interrupted at work. I was trying to listen to it, and then someone wanted me to do my job.
The nerve. But no, it's crazy how well this his personalities fit, and I think it's all part of it. I mean, the effort, the just all of it comes together, and it helps us form this idea of a player who really, really cares about us and really cares about the game that he's playing. So I think it's just a package.
Yeah, I think he's really he's become the Philly king.
No, he has.
I mean,
Yep, he absolutely has.
I mean, obviously, me and you were way bigger on the Phillies than we are the rest of Philly sports. But I look around. I mean, Jalen Hurts would probably be the only other guy in Philly sports that I would give that sort of title to. But Bryce Harper's built different. I mean, his persona really, you said it like perfectly. It just aligns with the city so dang well. And everyone's been saying the same thing all week. And I just love it, honestly. I have nothing more to say, but I love the guy. I love the situation we're in.
Yeah, and I used to think that he wasn't going to age well because his swing used to be really aggressive, but he straightened it up a little bit. It's not nearly as aggressive as it used to be when he was really young. So I think he's going to continue to tinker with it until it's something comfortable for when his back is not as flexible as it is now. And the move to first base it's working. It's working well. He looks good over there. He's making good plays. I feel better because Bryce Harper doesn't have to kind of exert himself as much every day, and the throws aren't as common at first base. I think that we're going to figure out how to extend his prime. Us and him are both going to the team and him are going to figure out how to make this work for as long as possible. And the hit tool is going to age like fine wine. He can straight up hit, so that's a really good part about it.
Yeah, I don't see that hit tool going anywhere. He's the best pure hitter in my eyes.
Real quick, so this is a little off topic. I don't know if you had a chance to hear this kind of plot. People are putting Bryce Harper on their Phillies Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore already. Did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Yeah, I was hoping you did. So why don't you give me your Mount Rushmore? Let's start with that.
Ooh. How many people are on Mount Rushmore? 4? Yeah, I don't know, dude.
Mount Rushmore?
I've never been there.
Okay, let's play a second game. Who's on the actual Mount Rushmore?
Dude, I don't know anything about Mount Rushmore.
Wait, it's the presidents, right?
Yeah. I forgot. What's it, the first 4?
Wait, you're kidding me, right?
I actually have no idea.
Okay, Washington, Jefferson. Did you know those two?
Yeah.
Lincoln. Did you know that one?
Yeah. Who's the other one? Roosevelt?
Yeah. You know all those people, right?
Yeah, dude. I know presidents.
Oh, you just didn't know who was on there.
Yeah, I don't even think I've seen Mount Rushmore since I was in like 5th grade on like pictures.
Okay, well, I guess you learn something every day, right?
Thanks, Josh. You educated me today.
Yeah, anytime.
All right, well, I could probably do that Phillies. For sure.
Well, let's hear it. Yeah.
Do we have to keep it within generations or?
No, just pick your four guys. If you had to pick your 4 Phillies legends, or if you had to rank them all, who would be the top 4?
I'm not going to rank him. I'm just going to give you 4.
Okay, that's fine.
But I'm probably going to go with Mike Schmidt.
Okay, yeah.
Chase Utley. Steve Carlton and Bryce Harper.
Really? Yeah, that was the most popular one. And
I will
would
say though, I do have to interject.
let's hear it.
I don't like the idea of putting a guy that hasn't been a Philly his whole career on the Mount Rushmore. It feels a little bit disingenuous, but
Chase Elliott wasn't a Philly his whole career.
Started, Yeah.
All right. So
How about you?
Definitely Mike Schmidt and Steve Carlton. I think they're not up for debate. They're definites. I think Chase Utley's a definite in terms of like legendary status in Philadelphia. And the 4 spot's tricky. I see a very strong argument for Bryce Harper. And if you ask me in 4 or 5 years, it will be Bryce Harper. I'm fairly certain of that.
Yeah.
I think right now it's still Jimmy Rollins, though. Career leader in hits.
My 5th.
Yeah, and I think that he is kind of the face. Him and Utley are the face of the greatest time in Phillies history, and I think that's worth something. I'd put Bryce at 5, right ahead of Cole and Ryan Howard. But the fact that Bryce has been here 4 years. I'm losing track of time. 4 years, and he's already in that conversation is just insane. I mean, opening this back up, I mean, this whole Bryce Harper experience has gone so well. And it's so amazing that he's here. And he will be there eventually. He will.
Can you believe we're only paying that guy $26 million a year?
Steal. Absolute steal.
And Trey Turner, $26 million a year? Bargain.
What? I wish I could find everybody who said it was a bad deal when we signed it, and just show them the baseball reference
smack
page.
them all in the face. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Just some. Okay, that too. But no, it's going well. More of the story, it's going very well, and I'm excited for many more good moments. And let's kind of transition here. September is a usually a pretty stressful month. I'm hoping it's not going to be stressful. The one big thing that's kind of going to happen is September call-ups. We have 3 roster spots to play with. Any guesses on which way we go with that? Because it will help down the stretch run.
Yeah, I was curious how they're going to approach this because I know we have a couple of relievers down in AAA that could be nice additions, but we have Cody Clemens, who's absolutely raking. That would probably be my guy.
I think one's definite. I think Pache is going to get called up on September 1st. So I think there's only 2 spots to work with. So let's hear your 2.
Yeah, I would probably go Cody Clemens, and I think they might even bring Rodolfo Castro back to AAA, or I don't think he will end up being on the roster through September. But Pache and Cody Clemens. And then probably a pitcher.
Any guesses?
Brogdon has been bad.
There's Nick Nelson.
There's Mick Abel.
There is Mick Abel.
That was my thought today. Mick Abel's been on a nice little run here in AA.
I would say that I think that's a real possibility, but if that was a possibility, I just don't understand why he was kept at AA all year. It feels like if they were to kind of expect him to pitch this year, he'd be in AAA, right?
I guess. I don't know if the competition gap is that large, and I was reading about it today. Like, Reading is a much harder pitcher's park than Lehigh Valley. So it's actually harder for him to be pitching there, from a pitching perspective. I have no idea what they're going to do with that pitcher spot because they're not going to be 3 bats. It'll probably be 2 bats and then 1 arm.
Yeah, I think. Cody Clemens and Pache probably. I think it'll be Nick Nelson. As who you got?
Kirkering.
Who?
The Orion Kirkering guy.
You're gonna have
Josh,
to provide some context.
You got to do your research there.
I'm not up to date. Who?
He's one of our top pitching prospects now, the nastiest slider in our system. I might have said his first name. Let me look him up real quick for everyone so I don't fake news media you guys.
Phillies prospects. Okay, let me see.
Yeah, Orion Kirkering.
I got to see the name because that does not sound like a real name.
He is.
Yeah, that's a real name. So he's his expected arrival is 2025. So I think.
Well, but he wasn't supposed to move as quickly as he did this year.
It's true. In AA, I don't think it's going to be anybody in AA. I just, I think it's probably just going to be Nelson, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, I think we're going to go the boring route.
Yeah, I'm looking up and down this prospects list, and all of these guys are super young, and they won't be here for a while, unless you feel like rolling the dice on Griff McGarry, which not happening. They're not going to do that after he was placed on the development list.
You think Cody Clemens will be a call-up?
Yeah, I think Cody Clemens will be a call-up, and I think Pache, and that'll give us another lefty and righty bat. They could possibly go another catcher, bring up Marchand. If they decide to kind of send down Castro, then they'll have 4 spots to work with, and they could do those 3 position players and a pitcher. If it's a pitcher, I think it's Nelson. You said Brogdon hasn't been doing very good, so I'll take your word for that. I didn't have a chance to look at his stats, but he might be an option. I don't know. It's not very clear, to be honest. Most years it's clear, but this year I don't know where they're going to go with that pitcher spot.
No, yeah, it's not like there's guys that are pitchers that are screaming to be called up right now. We don't really have that situation in the farm system. So it'll be interesting, to say the least, to see how it plays out. I mean, it'll help us regardless, having more players.
Yeah, you're right about that. September call-ups I wanted to hit on. Anything else you got?
We got the Brewers, got the Pirates, we got the Mets coming up. It's
bunch against
National
the
League
Braves.
Baseball. When are the Braves?
I think they're mid-September. That's going to be a big series.
In Philly?
It's a good question.
Well, if so, we should go. But
we should definitely go. That would be a good one to go to. But yeah, other than that, I mean, we have a bunch against the Mets, which is ended up being a very bad team. So that's not going to be as intriguing as we would have thought when the season started. But nonetheless, you think
we gotta be careful with those guys. I think nothing they would like more than to ruin our season.
That's a good point.
They would love that. They would eat that up. So we got to make sure we take the garbage out.
Yeah, they've been doing it though. So we'll have a little faith in them to do that, and hopefully, the September goes smooth, and hopefully your September for fantasy baseball goes smooth. Best of luck to you.
I'll take the dub.
I think I'm rooting for you. I don't know how you're doing in this matchup.
Winning. Winning
by a lot or a little?
By like 100.
Okay, it looks like it's going to be you and Herm, and obviously Herm has won a couple of times, so I'll be rooting for you. Best of luck, and hopefully you and the Phils can take care of business.
Yeah, I think I'm getting a ring, and the Phils are getting a ring in the same year.
It's going to be a good fall. It's going to be a good fall for you.
Oh boy, it is. All right, guys, I think that's all we got today.
As always, thank you guys for listening. If you're an Eagles fan, go check out Pickswap Media because the Eagles are starting up in like a week, I think. So that's right around the corner. Even the Sixers are kind of right around the corner too. So go check out Pickswap Media. And we will be here for all your Phillies coverage. And next week we will be back at it. And hopefully we will have some more Phillies wins to talk about. Thank you, guys.
Go Phils.